Growing up, one of my favorite bands was Rush. They were my very first concert, and to this day, I still love their music. One key element of Rush's sound that doesn't get talked about very much is Alex Lifeson's guitar playing. Alex is a phenomenal guitarist. He can write amazing riffs and solo better than almost anybody. And his tone, my god, his tone. From their 1974 self-titled debut all the way to 2012's Clockwork Angels, you can find so many examples of Alex Lifeson's amazing guitar sound. But for me, there's one guitar tone in particular that just kind of stands above the rest, and that's the intro to Spirit of Radio. Hearing that riff for the first time blew my mind, and honestly, it still does now. It's an amazing riff, but what makes it stand out is the effect on it, and that effect is flanger. So what exactly is a flanger? Well, according to Native Instruments, a flanger is a type of audio effect that creates a distinctive swooshing or jet plane sound. It's made by combining an audio signal with a slightly delayed, modulated version of itself. That distinctive swoosh sound can be heard on the intro to Barracuda by Heart and in parts of the intro to Unchained by Van Halen. With those two songs in particular, it's pretty easy to tell that it's a flanger being used, but sometimes it's not as easy. Take Andy Summers from The Police, for example. Andy is often credited as being one of the prototypes for that clean, chorus 80s guitar sound that defined the whole decade. But on some of his most famous riffs, like Message in a Bottle and Walking on the Moon, Andy Summers is not actually using a chorus pedal. He's using the Electro Harmonix Electric Mistress, a flanger pedal.
Yeah, that's just a straight, that's with the flanger. Then you add the echo on. Here the sound gets bigger, and then you put the compression. Play my Message in a Bottle was played like this.
When Electro Harmonix released his signature version of the Electric Mistress, in an interview, Summers asked why it wasn't called a chorus pedal. And that kind of sums up how guitarists view flanger. Chorus and phaser, they get all the attention, while flanger kind of stays out of the limelight and the conversation. Though flanger has been used by modern artists like Title Fight, Super Heaven, and Death Cab for Cutie, it's never really had a definitive era like chorus did in the 1980s. Which some players may view as a good thing actually, because it never gets dated and you can use it for any genre of music. But for me, I think this is one of the reasons why I never really tried to implement flanger into my playing. I'll admit, up until recently, I have not liked flanger at all. I found the sound to be way too abrasive for me and have always preferred chorus because it's a more smooth sound and more pleasing to the ear. But last year, I found myself becoming more open to trying flanger after I got this chorus pedal, the Arion Stereo Chorus, because I found I wasn't using chorus in the same way I had been using it for years before, potentially opening up a way for me to use flanger in my playing. When I bought this pedal, I thought for sure I was going to use it for slower chorus sounds that kind of defined the 80s. But I found that as I kept experimenting with it, I actually preferred it at a faster speed because it sounded more like a Leslie speaker to me. And that got me thinking, if my taste is changing, maybe I should try out a flanger sound and see if it would work with my setup. So I started experimenting with flanger sounds in Helix Native, and I really enjoyed it, like way more than I thought I would, because I had this preconceived notion in my head that I kind of hated flanger, but it sounded pretty cool and I could get it to do different sounds than I thought a flanger could do. In fact, let me show you some of my favorite sounds right now. Going into this video, I really wanted to challenge my preconceived notion that flangers weren't for me, and I would say I successfully challenged them. I can definitely see a future where I have some form of a flanger pedal or a multi-effects pedal on my board that does flanger sounds that I use for writing and performing with my band Daryl Saves Lives. But that's another video for a different day. So that's all I have to say about flanger. Now I'd love to hear from you. Do you love or hate flanger? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinions. If you're interested in checking out a flanger pedal, I have links down below to Sweetwater's website with a few recommendations. If you do decide to buy something using the link, I do receive a small commission. It's a great way to help the channel out if you're thinking about buying some gear. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a ton. In the description box, I have a link to my band Daryl Saves Lives music and my other social media accounts. But anyways, thanks again for watching. My name's Kolji, and I'll see you in the next one.